Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon to vote for Risa Hawkeye or Lust from Full Metal Alchemist, and like and subscribe for better dance moves next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Mina Ashido from My Hero Academia. She's pink, sweet, and her quirk is Goop based, so she probably wants her hero name to be Bubblegum or something. Oh no, Alien Queen. Like the Xenomorph. Let's compromise and call it Pinky.
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to learn modern English, stopping the world to melt with you with acid. Next, we need to make sure that we can scoot around on the acid by melting the floor into a liquid that slides us across. That's so goddamn rad, I love my hero. Finally, we need to punch pretty good if you're gonna go one-on-one with your classmates and don't want to kill them in the most horrifyingly painful way to die, maybe just use an uppercut. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. No surprise, the slime gal is gonna get a little messy. Dexterity will be number 1. You're one of the speediest members of Class 1A, and one of them is a speedster. Charisma next. This is actually going to be your top stat after racial bonuses, which makes sense. Ashido is a delight. Follow that up with Wisdom. It helps your reflexes. Dodging is important if you would melt through any armor you wore. Constitution at 12. Villains tend to deal damage, and you don't want to die. Strength is a bit low. We can get athletics, but Ashido isn't tossing cars around. We'll dump intelligence, though. You definitely need some extra tutoring to get through the school part of hero school. If you got a bright color palette and horns, that's a tiefling. There's a few variations that get different spells, but we're gonna go for Fierna. None of the spells really fit Mina, but Fierna gets the closest. That'll give you +2 charisma and +1 wisdom, 60 feet of dark vision, hellish resistance to resist fire damage, helping you get a little closer to Todoroki. He's so reserved and serious. We're just gonna cover your spells right now. You get the Friends cantrip at first level, giving you advantage on charisma checks with a creature for a minute. After that, they're gonna realize you used magic on them and be a little upset. You get Charm Person at level 3, letting you force a wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they're charmed by you for an hour. It's a little less hazardous than Friends, the spell, not the sitcom or your friends. At the 5th level, you get Suggestion, letting you force a wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they have to try and complete some simple task for 8 hours. It can't be directly harmful, so I recommend something like dig a big hole. While Ashido does have some charm, she doesn't really have mind control. This is just better than the other options that we could have gotten. There's no better option for your background than Entertainer, though, giving you performance and acrobatic skills to breakdance better. We'll kick things off as a monk to get a breakdance fighting technique with athletics and insight proficiency as well. You get martial arts, making your unarmed attacks deal a d4 of damage using your dexterity modifier, and you can make one as a bonus action. After you make one with your action, spin to win. It's an expert technique. You might melt any armor you're wearing away with acid, so it's a good thing you have unarmored defense, giving you AC equal to 10 plus your dexterity and wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. Second level monks get key points they can use to do cool acid stuff like Step of the Wind, letting you dash or disengage as a bonus action so you can slide around and use your extra momentum to double your jump distance. Patient Defense lets you dodge as a bonus action with some unpredictable movements to anyone who's not feeling the rhythm. Flurry of Blows lets you make 2 unarmed attacks instead of 1 with your bonus action for a 3-hit combo, faster than any other class. Well, just as fast as a 2-weapon fighter, I guess. But fighters don't get unarmored movement, making you faster when you're not wearing armor, and in your case, probably shoes, unless they were Vessies. Is Vessi sponsoring this one? No? Free plug for them then. 3rd level monk is what we're here for. The way of the Ascendant Dragon monks studied dragons. You watched Alien. Alien is now a dragon. As a draconic disciple, you can use your draconic presence to reroll a failed persuasion or intimidation check as a reaction once per long rest, though it's not expended until it succeeds. Draconic Strike lets you change the damage of an unarmed attack to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage with your acid quirk. I'm guessing you can figure out which one I want. You also learn Draconic, which is a fun perk. I haven't seen many dragons in my hero. There might be some in that Dungeons & Dragons game, though. You also get Breath of the Dragon, letting you replace 1 attack per round with a 20-foot cone or a 30-foot line that forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures inside, dealing double your martial arts die in acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage. Again, acid. You can do this an amount of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus for free, then it takes 2 key points. Every monk gets to deflect missiles, letting you reduce incoming ranged attacks by 1d10 plus your monk level and dexterity modifier as a reaction, melting things down with a little acid shield. You can even yeet it back with a key point as long as you reduce the damage to 0, save your key points for acid, dashing, or flurry kicking. Those are much more Mina. 4th level monks get an ability score improvement. Start off investing with your dexterity modifier since that will help your punches and it boosts your AC as well. That's never bad. Acid might seem like a better investment, but Mina is pretty afraid of melting people to death right away, so generally she's using punches early on. He also gets slow fall, letting you reduce falling damage by 5 times your monk level as a reaction, shoot some acid at the ground, and let that momentum stop you from breaking your legs. You need them for dancing. 5th level monks are better dancers with extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1 with your action for another spin in your breakdance kick attack. You also get Stunning Strike, letting you spend a key point point to force a Constitution saving throw on a creature you hit with a weapon attack, including your punches. Failing that, they're stunned until the end of your next turn. Does Mina hit that hard? Yeah, she beat Aoyama with one punch, though maybe that just means I need to dump Khan when I make the belly button boy. Either way, your martial arts die bumps up to a d6, which will also help your acid tossing. At this point, I think we need to toss some more acid though, and we'll get that by jumping over to Sorcerer, specifically a Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer. I don't know where quirks come from. Maybe there was a dragon who got real busy around 1,000 years ago and made some latent genes. You get Draconic Resilience, giving you 1 extra HP for every level you take in Sorcerer, which makes up for the d6 hit die, and it sets your AC to 13 plus your dexterity modifier when you're not wearing armor. I've seen people say that the first kind of unarmored defense has to be the one that you're using, but I've never seen them cite a source, and I've never seen an official source say that. Pretty sure you just get to choose one since they don't stack. You also get to choose a Draconic Ancestor, choose an acid one. It doesn't do anything here, other than giving you advantage on persuasion checks with dragons. It's kind of sad Ashido doesn't get to use those abilities in My Hero, but not because there aren't dragons, it's because only the boy heroes get arcs and screen time. Of course, the main reason to be a sorcerer is to get spells and cantrips, like Acid Splash, which forces a dexterity saving throw on a creature and another creature within 5 feet of the first creature, dealing 2d6 acid damage to each that fail. I had to look that spell up because I don't make acid builds like ever. This is fun. Blade Ward lets you give yourself resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage as an action. Dodging is better, but do this if you don't want to drop a key point instead, or just use your action to dodge, since this also takes an action. Mending puts 2 pieces of something back together, melting some stuff together to fix it. Message lets you whisper a message to a creature 120 feet away, and they can message it back as well. Them dang kids are always on their cell phones. For your first level spells, Tasha's Caustic Brew forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 30-foot line, covering them in acid if they fail for up to a minute, depending on your concentration, or until they use their action to wipe it off. Until they de-slime, they take 2d4 acid damage at the start of each of their turns. Grease turns a 10-foot square into difficult terrain, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures inside, knocking them prone if they fail, and they repeat the saving throw anytime they end their turn in the area. No concentration for this one, so just slick up an area and watch people fall on their butts. Second level sorcerers get a Font of Magic with sorcery points they can use to recover spell slots and do cooler stuff with later. For now, grab another first level spell like Shield to add 5 to your AC as a reaction for a very consistent acid shield, especially with a patient defense dodge with your action. Third level sorcerers get Meta Magic, ways to augment your spells with sorcery points to do cool things like Careful Spell, letting your allies automatically pass saving throws from your spells equal to your charisma modifier. Now, Mina doesn't have to worry about melting the good guys. Empowered Spell lets you melt a little more, re-rolling a number of damage die equal to your charisma modifier on a spell you cast. You can learn second level spells here as well. We need some more dragon stuff with Dragon's Breath, creating a 15-foot cone in front of you that forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures inside, dealing 3d6 acid damage to those that fail. Or Cold Fire, yada yada, do acid damage, not LSD. You can also use this every round for a minute depending on your concentration, so it really helps you spam the acid kablam. Fourth level sorcerers get an ability score improvement. Let's work on that charisma now to be more likable and to be more potent with your acid. If you don't give your enemies heartburn, you're not playing right. For this level spell, Web creates a 20-foot cube of difficult terrain that forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures inside, restraining them if they fail. They're stuck until they use their action to pass the save, or the spell ends in an out, or you drop your concentration. Hopefully they can make the save within 1,000 rounds to do so. Otherwise, whoops, acid just a little too sticky. Fifth level sorcerers can learn third level spells. Haste doubles a creature's movement speed, adds 2 to their AC, gives them advantage on dexterity saving throws, and an extra action to dash, disengage, hide, use an object, or make 1 more attack. That's up to 5 attacks in a round with a flurry of blows, all with acid on it, or just doing some serious scooting. It ends in a minute, or when you drop concentration, then you need to take a round off of actions and reactions because you gave 110%, kind of a theme for Class 1A. Their class motto should be, break ourselves to win. 6th level Draconic Bloodline Sorcerers get Elemental Affinity, letting you add your Charisma modifier and damage to 1 acid spell per round to be even more dangerous. You can also spend a sorcery point afterwards for resistance to acid damage, not that there are a ton of people with acid damage running around. I literally forget how the spells work, and this is my job. For this level spell, Counterspell shuts down a spell of 3rd level or lower automatically, and higher level spells with a Charisma check of 10 plus the spell's level. So now you can have an acid shield against magical effects as well. You'd be surprised how many things can be beaten with a potent solution. 7th level sorcerers can learn 4th level spells like Vitriolic Sphere, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 20-foot radius sphere, dealing 10d4 acid damage to those that fail, and 5d4 acid damage at the end of their next turn. If they succeed, they take half damage from the first hit and no damage at the end of their next turn. It's a big old acid bomb. A spell I think I've never actually used before on this channel. Fun stuff. 8th level sorcerers get another ability score improvement, cap off your charisma modifier for the most potent acid you could possibly toss. And also just to be likable. For this level spell, I'm gonna grab Expeditious Retreat from the first level, letting you dash as a bonus action for up to 10 minutes depending on your concentration. If you want to go fast but don't want to spend bigger resources on haste or step of the wind, Expeditious Retreat is the way to go. 9th level sorcerers can learn 5th level spells. I just want to upcast some of your acid spells and get more sorcery points. But skill empowerment gives a creature expertise in a skill they're proficient with, doubling their proficiency bonus to make your acrobatics even more impressive. 10th level sorcerers get another meta magic option. Heightened spell will give creatures disadvantage on saving throws against a spell you cast, so so you'll always get maximum damage. For this level spell, we'll grab Slow from the 3rd level, creating a 40-foot cube that forces a wisdom saving throw on creatures inside. Failing that, their movement speed is halved. They get a -2 penalty to their AC and dexterity saving throws. They can't take reactions, can only take actions or bonus actions on their turn, and if they try to cast a spell, roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, the spell comes out next turn. It can be really hard to concentrate when you're all gunked up. 11th level sorcerers can learn 6th level spells. Fizban's Platinum Shield lets you give a creature half cover. That means +2 to their AC and dexterity saving throws, resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage, and evasion, which means that you'll take half damage on failed dexterity saving throws and no damage on successful ones. All of these benefits last for a minute depending on your concentration, buff your AC to where it would be if we capped off Monk, as well as giving you the only ability for Monk I still wanted, evasion. Really nice of Fizban to do that for me. Thanks, buddy. And there aren't any more acid spells. And Mina doesn't fly, so we can't go further in Monk, but we could use some extra ability scores, and a dip to fighter will get us there eventually. At level 1, you can grab another fighting style, like unarmed fighting, to bump your unarmed attacks damage up to a d8 if you have 2 free hands, and deal a d4 of bludgeoning damage to a creature you have grappled once per round. Not that you're much for grappling. Second wind is always nice though, letting you heal 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest. Second level fighters get action surge, letting you make 2 actions in 1 turn once per short rest. That means up to 6 attacks in a single round for a full-on flurry of kicks. Third level fighters can choose a martial archetype. We're gonna go with champion. It's nice and basic to balance out the acidity. That's good cooking. That'll give you improved critical, letting you critically hit on a 19 or a 20 with your weapon attacks, which does include unarmed strikes. And yours can be acid, thanks to Dragon Monk, to ignore some resistances. Our capstone is the 4th level fighter. For one last ability score improvement, round up your dexterity for better acidic punches. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, your damage is nice and consistent with bigger acid spells from Sorcerer and damage variety on all of your punches from Monk. You're also very hard to hit with patient defense, deflect missiles, and shield to add to your solid AC to make sure that you're not getting hit. Finally, you're very mobile with extra movement speed from Monk and doubled that from haste to blast around like an acidic Sonic the Hedgehog. For weaknesses, boy, there aren't a lot of acid spells. It's still really hard to make an acid build. That also gets things really messy since we weren't able to cap off all the stats we needed with the multiclassing we had to do because we couldn't get more acid spells. Constitution especially took a hit, leaving you with low HP if you wanted to breakdance fighting up front. But if you're running a quirky build, your enemies will be unprepared. Catch them off guard, melt them down, and run away if you need to. Enjoy your uniqueness. It's twice as fun as being a clone of other characters. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We're making double videos every day this month. Join the Patreon to vote for Riza Hawkeye or Lust from Full Metal Alchemist, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.